Hey guys, good morning. It's a little different because I'm doing this video on the way to work instead of after work. But guys, I pretty much changed my whole life, my whole routine in the last, I would say, a year and a half, 2 years or so. And even the last three to 5 months, I would say, instead of me working out after work, around 6 o'clock, I've for a long time, and when I say a long time, I mean like for years, even before I started working out consistently, I always wanted to be someone who works out at 5 a.m. So the last 3 to 5 months, finally, I've become that person who works out in the morning and then I go to work, right? And then now it's like I got to find something productive to do after work. And I have to tell you, it feels amazing. It feels great. Now for this year, I think I told you guys this before, but now I cut out sugar. And when I cut out sugar, I mean like I try my best to find things without sugar. And most of the things like I consume, which is like Greek yogurt and coffee mix, which is like I do 0 sugar on that. And most things have almost 0 sugar, but there's a couple things like I found out the peanut butter has a little bit of sugar in it. The oat milk I was drinking had some sugar, so I switched to almond milk. But either way, I cut out sugar and alcohol because even though I was on this journey, I still was compromising drinking alcohol on the weekends and stuff like that. And I really feel like it stopped me from progressing in my journey. So this year I cut out alcohol. And for a long time already, I already cut out, smoking weed. Like I don't smoke weed anymore. I had a couple run-ins, but since 2017, I haven't smoked weed consistently. And then, I had a couple run-ins when I was going through some things, and I smoked for like a week, and then I quit again because weed is just not for me anymore. And then I've also been abstinent, or how you would guys call it, celibate, nothing of the sexual nature, none of that, because, I am a Christian and I do believe in the word of the Lord. And I do believe like what he asks of us is because it's for our protection. And if anybody has any experience in that area, we know that not fornicating, which is what it's called, having sex before marriage, obviously this is for people who are not married, it does have implications that are negative implications. Or I don't think I have to say negative in front of implications, because implications is already negative, but it has negative consequences. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, we know it. There's just so many negative things stem from fornication, which is sex before marriage. And so I've been free of that. I don't watch porn either, because I feel like that's among like that. And I don't masturbate. I don't do that. There's a lot of things I don't do. I'm single right now. Okay, I'll let you guys know that. But when other people ask, I'll be like, oh, it's complicated, because like when men try to talk to you, you gotta like you gotta say, listen, I'm taken, and I really been taken by Jesus, but y'all know what I mean. And I don't eat any refined carbs, and I don't eat any sweets. So I said all that to say that right now I'm living a very clean life. All right, and I'm not saying that to make anybody feel bad about the life they're living. I'm not saying that to big up myself, because in all honesty, I just want to keep it real with you guys. When you're able to get to this point and this level of sacrifice and self-control, you have your reward. Your reward is already there. I realize that this world like provides so many outlets. Like a lot of us, we work hard, right? We work hard. We're stressed and worried about bills and money and life and stuff like that. So because of that stress pattern, we find different things to relieve that stress, or what we would call like an outlet, of a pleasurable outlet to, make us give some sense of balance and having a good life, right? And unfortunately, as I always stress to you guys, this world offers so many outlets that are not negative, that are not conducive to you being your best self, you being more successful. Okay, these outlets basically just weaken you, if I would say. It weakens you even more. It takes you away from becoming your best self. So this year, I definitely wanted to focus on my outlets. I wanted to focus on practicing more self-control and not indulging in outlets that take me away from my best self, because the goal is to get better. The goal is to feel better. The goal is to do better. The goal is entirely for me. The goal is my end goal, the most important goal, what I prioritize. The goal is for me to please God. All right, that's how I feel about it. All right, I don't know how you feel about it, but that's your business. But that's my business too. Okay, so that's my end goal. So in order for me to do that, I have to find out what's taking me away from that, what's pulling me away from my best self, what God is not pleased with, And I'm not perfect by any means, because let me tell you what I'm not perfect at. Like, I be home on weekends, unfortunately, because I don't have people to, usually I don't have anybody to go out with. I be home. So weekend after weekend, 6 months straight, I be home. But in my spirit, I be feeling like going out and having fun, going to a party. Like, I'm very lively like that. I'm very joyful, and I love to dance. I love to listen to music. I may not even dance that well, but I love to do it. So that's what kind of, I'm not gonna say it holds me back, right? Because we need to have a little fun, but that's my thing right there. That's an outlet as well. Okay, so when I finally find a friend, or a friend calls me, hits me up, hey, let's go out, let's go, especially like when it's like Haitian music. I love Haitian music, compa, like I'm really down for it. And I don't know, you feel me? I may have to give that up one day in order to please God. So you never know. But what I'm saying is, we need to focus on your outlets. Are your outlets healthy? The things that you do that are considered pleasurable. And usually things that are pleasurable are usually things that are not good for you, unfortunately. Things that, if you indulge in pleasure too much, as Tony Gatson says, is going to lead to a lot of pain. Because some people, their pleasurable thing is to drink two glasses to the whole bottle of wine after work. Obviously, that is not healthy. That is not a healthy outlet. Number one, you're becoming alcohol dependent. Two, alcohol makes you age quicker. It makes your face age quicker. It's literally poison to the body. And four, it's gonna make you gain weight, and you're gonna feel even worse about your body and how you look. And if you're even trying to lose weight, drinking alcohol, it's not going to allow you to lose weight. So there's just so many negative side effects. So you have to pay attention to the outlets that come with so many negative side effects, more than the positive, that you just got to end up being like, listen, I'm going to let that go. Okay, when I used to smoke weed used to make me feel really good. And I'm not even the type to be lazy on weed. As I already told y'all in that other video I have, like, why I stopped smoking weed. Like, I'm the type, and this is just me, my personality, normal. I'm always trying to be productive. I'm always on the go, trying to do something, trying to make something happen. So when I used to smoke weed, I used to work 2 jobs, and I used to be doing those 2 jobs, and it used to be good because it used to give me even extra energy and make my brain like be in some type of euphoria. So no matter what I'm doing, it felt good to do it. So I could have easily said, you know what, weed makes me more active, it makes me more creative, it makes me more happy, so I'm gonna stay on this. But that was, I guess, one benefit of weed, that it made me happy and active. But the other benefits, I had to smell like weed all the time, so people around had like less respect for me. I was dependent on something that I don't need to live. You shouldn't be dependent on anything that you don't need to live, which is like God, food, and water. That's all we need: God, food, and water. All right, and don't argue with me. God, food, and water. So if anything else you're outside of that you're dependent on, then you really have to evaluate it to see if that's something that's healthy for you. All right, so yeah, so what else about weed? Weed, I don't know, I just didn't like being dependent. It's a drug, and I didn't like having to alter my brain, spend all that money that I was spending on it, and having to be so addicted to something that I didn't actually need. And and we don't even know what the long-term effects of weed is yet. Like, we're gonna see that in the future, like, but when you see people who smoke weed, you see that they smoke weed. I'm not gonna say too much about that, but you see that they smoke weed, number one, because there's a kind of there's the lips that go with it. There's the dark lips. There's the skin that's not that, it has an effect on your skin, your appearance in different ways. It's just not, you just see it. You just see that weed is not what people created to be, and too many people are addicted to it. And as I always say, like, anything that this world pushes you towards and makes you like, yeah, do this, do that, like, for a fact it's not something that's right for you. And some people, sex is their outlet, and I can't express to you how bad sex being an outlet is, especially when you're not married. When you're married, that's one thing, and I feel like in marriage you could use sex to cover, like, instead of talking and communicating with your partner and getting better and evolving as a relationship, if sex, you just use sex to cover everything, I feel like that could be unhealthy too. But hey, I'm not married, so don't let me speak on anything like that. But when you're single and you're using sex as an outlet and you get dependent on it, there's so many negative effects. We don't have to talk about STDs, pregnancy. We don't have to talk about the emotional turmoil you experience when things don't go your way as you thought it was, and how it affects your self-esteem, your value, your self-worth. It's just so much. It's just so much how, the effects of it can carry on for the rest of your life. There are some lifelong negative consequences when you're being irresponsible with your sexual life and your sexual health. We know this, and we don't even have to go down the list of this, okay? Single parenthood, all of that. And single parenthood could happen to anybody, but always set out to take the safest route for you to protect yourself, God is a redeemer. God is a healer. No matter what situation you end up in, God can change things around for you. But you guys understand what I'm talking about. So we already know. So you really have to look at your outlets. All right. A big outlet that I struggle with since I've been on this earth is food. Not having any self-control when it came to food. Eating whatever I want to, whenever I wanted to eat it, however I wanted to eat it, eating the amounts that, eating the amount, whatever amount, it's just, and that one is just so deadly as well, because eating the wrong foods, especially, it causes so many health issues. And then not having self-control in that area, you're gaining weight, it's affecting your self-esteem, it's affecting your body image, and it's just overall, there's just so many negative effects of that, and you just feel bad. And I'm not even gonna express to you how when you are overweight, people treat you differently, and only I had to lose weight to understand that. So not only you're showing up in this world differently, but people also treat you how you show up in the world. So if you show up a certain way, people are gonna treat you as such. So and then losing weight, you see that you feel better about yourself, you're more confident, you dress differently, you act differently, you just show up in the world differently. But if you are out of control with food, negative consequences. If you're always eating cookies, sugary food, you're out of control. If you're eating refined carbs all the time, you're going to be out of control. So these are the outlets that really, really hold us back. There's so many more. Some people, video gaming, gambling, I don't know, fighting, anger. Like, there's just so many different things in this world that you can get wrapped up in that is no good for you. And then I posted on my Instagram all the things that I'm free of, right? I posted everything that I'm free of. And someone said, that's just boring. That's not even life. And I told that girl, I said, I feel freer and more alive than I ever did in life. I had to let her know. I said, babes, I feel more free than I've ever felt in this life. I had to keep it 100. Why? Because you choose to indulge in these pleasurable things that are negative, that are not good for you, that are not healthy for you. That's what you choose to indulge in to get that release that you need for your brain, your mind, to make you feel good about your life, right? And in the end, these things make you more addicted, and they make you weaker. You get weaker every time you take that drink, every time you finish that bottle, every time you have that sexual encounter, every time you gamble, every time you have on that video game. You end up with less self-control over it. That's basically the bottom line. less self-control over it, and you end up more committed, more addicted to that. That's what it has you doing. But when you decide to have control over yourself, all right, and I don't feel like any of this is possible without the power of Jesus Christ. That's just me. Sorry. That's just me. The power of Jesus Christ is at work in my life to allow me to be able to do this. That's all I'm saying. All right. So when you listen to me speak, a lot of my things, I feel like it is possible because of Jesus in my life, because I have Jesus, because of that. So if you feel like I don't think you would get the results I would get if you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ. All I'm saying. But what I was saying is that when you choose to have self-control over yourself, and you choose to cut off and sacrifice those things that are those pleasurable things that are making you weaker in return, or and have their foot on your neck. That's how I always say it. These things have their foot on your neck, and at first it feel like it's okay, and then the foot is so deep wedged into your neck that you can't even get it off. Now you used to control it, now it controls you. Those are those weak, pleasurable habits. But when you decide, hey, listen, I'm not doing this anymore, and you go through that time, that rough time where you saying, no, I'm cutting this off, I'm taking my power back. When you actually do it, and you're living in that place of having self-control and not indulging in pleasurable, weak things, you become stronger. And that same energy that you use for that outlet, that same energy that you use in that weak outlet, it becomes strength. And your new outlet is strength. Your new outlet is self-control. And feeling like you in control, feeling like you have power, feeling like God is in control, feeling that is way more pleasurable than anything else in life. Feeling that you have self-control over your mind, your heart, your body, feeling those things, that is an outlet in itself. My outlet is self-control. And the way I feel after I'm practicing that, I would not trade it. I would not trade it for anything else. I wouldn't trade it to eat cake when they serve cake at work. Okay, at work is such a temptation. They always come in with the sugar. They always come in with the bundt cakes, the cookies. You know, people don't want to eat at home and feel bad about what they eat at home. So they come and they drop it at work on the table, and they have other people eat them. The candies, the sugars. Bro, none of that is worth what I'm feeling right now. Not a sexual encounter is not worth it. A drink of some Henny, because I'm Henny and cranberry when I drink. Okay, a drink of Hennessy is not worth it. Vodka is not worth it. Gambling is not worth it. Video games is not worth it. Everything that I'm feeling right now, being in control of myself, nothing is worth that change. Nothing is worth giving that up. So when you get strong, no. How do I put it? Nothing is worth it. And the strength that you feel, it's incomparable. You feel it instead of giving yourself over and being weak and having some other substance, some other thing in this world control you and being weak to it. You being strong, that is the outlet that I recommend everybody seek. You being strong, you having power over everything that has power over you. So that's my challenge to you this year, to gain the power over things that have power over you. It may not even be things I've mentioned in this video, because everybody deals with certain things differently, but you have to understand what you deal with, and you have to attack that. And I guarantee you, once you attack that, here's what I feel like. Now that I have power over this portion of my life, finances is a good one. That's another thing that I'm fighting with. I ain't got it down yet, but I'm definitely fighting. But when you start to have power over these things, okay, now you mastered this, now you conquered this, now you're gonna want to conquer other things in this world. If you go into a low-paying job, if you someone who wants to be an entrepreneur, you want to have your business, you're gonna begin to start, okay, I conquered these things, this is my personal development, my personal growth. Now I'm gonna start conquering this area of my life. This area of my life needs to change. I'm gonna attack this next, then I'm gonna attack this next, then I'm gonna attack this next. And you're gonna have power, and you're gonna to attack this because you have practiced that self-control. Now you're going to apply that self-control that you've been practicing to other areas of your life, so you can master, so you can grow. So it's just so many things. When you choose Jesus, when you choose to overcome things that have been overcoming you for years, probably since you've been on this earth, then you're gonna overcome other things. Start with the small things and work your way up. And that girl who said, oh, that's not life, yeah, right. Don't listen to people telling you that's not life. This is the best life. Right here, right now is the best life I've ever lived. There's nothing I would go back to. I've had many pleasurable experiences, all right, with different people, places, things. Okay, but there's no club, there's no party, there's no time in my life that I would want to go back to after I've discovered and conquered this portion of my life. I am living in my best life. I am my best. Out of all the years I've lived, this is my best self, and I feel like I'm just going to continue to master and get better. And it all started with me wanting control over myself. No, when you don't have control over yourself, you try to search and have control over other people, other things in your life that are out of your control. But when you start having control over yourself, it's a different life. It's a different level. Having control over yourself and forgetting about things that you don't have control over, it's a different level. It's a different experience. And what I wish is for all of you guys to master this and bring yourself to this point. It's an act of self-love to show yourself, listen, I'm going to choose you. You choose me. I'm choosing me over everything else. I'm choosing me. I'm choosing to please God over everything else. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Again, I know some people might get offended, and if you feel some conviction over it, let it hit. Let it sizzle in your heart, because if it sizzles, you can change. There's many times that things had to sizzle in my heart before I decided to change. So let that sizzle, let that little bit of jealousy, don't rest in jealousy, but let that little bit change you. Use it as a catalyst to change you. Use it as motivation, because you can do it. You can do it. All right? In Jesus' name. Bye, y'all.